Okay. Are we live? We're good? Let's see. Let's check this is going up okay. Yeah, here we go. We're live. So welcome to Sunday School Live, everyone. I hope you've had a really good week. You've all gone back to homeschool as such, and hope parents you've survived okay too. Yes, we're back for another week of Sunday School Live. We're still in lockdown. We still can't get to church, but it's still great that we can still meet together, even if it's over a laptop screen or on YouTube later on for our service. So what things you'll need for Sunday School Live today is if you've got a Jesus Storybook Bible, again, our story is going to be from it. So if you've got a copy of yours of the Tower of the Jesus Storybook Bible, you can follow along with the pictures. So you'll also need the worksheets printed off from the website aghadowey.pci.co.uk. So you've got this one here, which is the one I'll be doing with you. There are other ones like a word search, and there's a little activity for the younger ones. Hey, cats joined me. Where'd you go? There we go. Live TV, never worked with animals. So yes, where were we? Yes, there's a little one for a little activity for younger ones. It's basically a little painting activity, which you can do it's anytime you wish, with little sponges, and it's just easier for them because they're little, and it's also a really creative way to like build the tower with lots of different coloured blocks. So we'll be doing this one with each other. Then there's also the memory verse cards, which is the little thing that we started last week, and it's little cards that you're going to build up for kids to be learning throughout the week. Stick it on the fridge somewhere where you'll see it every week, and you'll start to remember them, and each verse links back to the story, and it helps you remember the story and then also a key aspect from the story. We started our new series last week, which is looking at all the different characteristics of God through different stories in the Bible. And what we're doing is we're just working our way through the Old Testament. Not every story, there's lots of stories in the Old Testament, but we're just going to pick out some key ones that the kids will enjoy listening to, and they'll learn something from them. So what else? Yes, there's also a little like additional activity that I was planning on doing, but I couldn't because I don't have materials even myself. So there's a little tower activity which you can do using spaghetti and marshmallows, which I'll explain a little later. I thought we had marshmallows until I realised that Mum had put them in 15s, and I thought we had spaghetti, and then I realised we had it on Thursday night for tea. But oh well. This is lockdown life. We don't have access to all the materials that we always have. So just adapt. If you don't have anything that could work for the activity, you don't have to do it. Just sort of use it, adapt it, or don't do it at all. So yeah, and we also have our quiz a little bit later on. So it's always handy if you have another device you can do it on, or if you're watching on your laptop, you can just open up another tab, and I'll have the code for it whenever it comes to the quiz. So, children, time for our story. We're going to learn about a very big tower, not the Eiffel Tower or like some of the big towers in New York. This is a different tower. Have you ever been told not to go into a certain room or not to eat a certain something? Maybe there's a cookie jar at the top of your cupboard and you're not allowed to reach it, you're not allowed to go for it unless you have an adult there with you who can get it for you in case it breaks or in case you eat too many cookies. Well, that's something that we could use to describe this story, the story of the Tower of Babel. You see, there was lots of people. This was just after Noah had built his boat and flooded the earth, and his children had children, and they had children, and they had children. And they thought they were really cool. They thought they were really great, and they were super proud of themselves. And they thought they could get to heaven all by themselves. They thought they could reach God all by themselves without anything else, because they thought they were just so cool and so great. So, if you've got your Jesus Storybook Bible, if you don't have it, don't worry. Turn to page 48 and we'll start with the story, A Giant Staircase to Heaven. And this story is found in Genesis chapter 11 if you want to read it in an original format. So, Noah and his family lived in the land, and his children had children, those children had more children, and then those children had even more. Well, you get the picture, until there was lots of people on earth once more. Now, back then, everyone spoke exactly the same language. So you didn't need to learn Swahili or Japanese or French or Spanish like what you might have been doing this week at homeschool. Or anything else. You could say hello and anyone in the world, they knew what they meant. One day, everyone was talking and they came up with an idea. Let's build ourselves a beautiful city to live in. It can be our home and we'll be safe forever and ever and ever. They had another idea. Let's build a really tall tower to reach up to heaven. Yes, they said. We'll say, look at us up here, and everyone will look up at us and we'll look down on them. And then we'll know we are something. We'll be like God. We'll be famous and safe and happy, and everything will be all right because we have this big tower. So they got to work. Brick by brick, the tower grew higher and higher until it soared above the city, touching the sky. They built stairs in the tower to climb to the top. It was like a giant staircase to heaven. Look, they cheered. We're the ones. See what we can do with our very own hands. They were quite pleased with themselves, but God wasn't pleased with them. God could see what they were doing. They were trying to live without him. But God knew that wouldn't make them happy or safe or anything. If they kept on like this, they would only destroy themselves, and God loved them too much to let that happen. So he stopped their plans. One morning, they went to work. They went to work as usual, but everything was different. Their words were all new and funny. You see, God had given each person a completely different language. Suddenly, no one understood what anyone else was saying. Someone would say, how do you do? And the other person thought they said, how ugly are you? It wasn't funny. You could be saying something nice like, such a lovely morning, and get a punch in the nose because they thought you said, hush up, you're boring. You couldn't say pardon to check if you'd heard right because no one understood that word either. It wasn't easy to work together after that, as you can only imagine. People were always quarrelling, fighting and getting in a dreadful muddle and becoming grumpier and grumpier until at last they were all too cross to keep on building and just had to stop. After that, people scattered all over the world, which is how we ended up with so many different languages today. You see, God knew however high they reached, however hard they tried, people could never get back to heaven by themselves. People didn't need a staircase, they needed a rescuer. Because the way back to heaven wasn't a staircase, it was a person. People could never reach up to heaven, so heaven would have to come down to them. And one day it would. And that's our story for today. Quite a short story, but a really interesting story. And it teaches us how we have all these different languages. You might have been struggling through French this week in homeschool without your teacher. And you must have been thinking, how on earth did we have all these languages? Well, now you know. So, let's go on to our little craft. So, colour it in first. So you might want, this is going to be your tower, so you might want to colour in like brick colours. So I'm going to see if I can find a brown pencil. There we go. So if you colour in brick colours and make it look like it was built with brick, like so. I'm going to do a very quick version. I'm just going to do one block. So you'll need some scissors for this activity, and if you need help with scissors, make sure you have an adult with you because I don't want any accidents. Okay, so you see we've got some bricks on our tower. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is you're going to fold the page in half like this. So the tower is in the middle. So if my maths is right, because I made this sheet, okay, then it should be in the middle like this. Then you're going to fold it the other way too. So fold it backwards. So then you've got it like this. Everybody still with me? Good. Okay. So what you do is you cut along the black lines. So you see where the wee scissor is? Oh. You cut along the black lines, okay? And it should do it on both sides, okay? So we're cutting along this big black line. And we keep okay, but don't cut the middle like I have. Don't cut the middle, okay? There we go. Or else you'll cut the whole tower out, and that's like not what we're supposed to be doing right now. Okay, so you might, yeah, it's quite tricky not to cut the middle. So you might need to like pierce through it. I haven't practiced this. So pierce through it with some sharp scissors, like so. There's a picture of this, if this goes a bit wrong, there's a picture of this on the website that what it's meant to look like at the end, okay? So this could be the greatest fail of Sunday School Live yet, if this doesn't work. So what you have is this is meant to pierce out the way. So let me have a look at the picture. Just, I'm pretty sure this is what it said how to do. So it's meant to like come out like this, so that we have our tower that then will stick out. Okay, let me have a look. It's on the OneDrive, which is on the website. So let me have a look. Did that work? Okay. There we go. So yes, don't cut along the bottom bits, cut along the top of the lines. Have I got someone messaging me for support? Okay, I'll turn that on silent. So don't cut this bit here like I have mistakenly done. You just cut along the lines like so, so it should all stay intact and stay in the picture. Let's try the top. And so I can see it working. Okay, so we've cut along these lines, but don't cut along this line. That was my mistake. Okay, then you fold it in like so, and then you push out like magic, and we have our tower. So if you're not doing this right now and you're just sort of seeing this as like a demonstration, and you'll do this later on, don't do what I've done. Top tip, print on card because it's a bit sturdier. And 2, don't cut along these lines here, okay? Then you push the paper out like so, and then the spare bit in, and then so you push the blocks out This is what I need in this system. There we go. And then you should have your Tower of Babel. Okay? So, I mean, it was going to happen at some point. It was going too well, these Sunday school lives. And then you fold it in. I've got quite cheap paper, so it might not be the best. And we have our tower, like so. I mean, yours will look better, obviously, but there we go. That is how to build your Tower of Babel and how not to build your Tower of Babel. Okay, so swiftly moving on to our quiz. .com. So if you have another device handy, if you're broadcasting this on your TV, you might want to get an iPad or your phone, a spare phone, or if you're watching on your laptop, you can open up another tab and head over to and type into Google joinmyquiz.com. Okay, and we have a very short quiz this week, a bit shorter than usual, and joinmyquiz.com. And I'm just making sure I've got all the settings right. Yep, here we go. Okay, and continue. And the quiz code this week is 617106. So I'm just going to comment that in the below. So 617106. 617106. So joinmyquiz.com and you just type it into Google. Don't need to download an app, don't need to sign up to anything. Just type in the code and we have people already. That is great. Fantastic. And there's also a wee word search on the website there, which you can do, and you can keep colouring in your pages if you're waiting for the others to get sorted and onto the quiz. You can colour in the fields, colour in the sky, put your name on it, stick it on the fridge, do whatever you like, and make sure you don't cut down these side parts of the bricks like I did. Okay. Here we go. Everyone's joining in. We've got 31 so far. Okay. Okay, are we ready to get started? I might join in too. Join my quiz. So it should be the first option that you find on Google. And then enter game code 617106. Join a game. Okay, so I think we're ready to get started. Okay, so let's start. Okay. So, why was it easy for the people to work together to build the tower? You have all the options there. They spoke one language, they had lots of money, they were really strong, or they were really good at building towers. So, how high did they plan to build the tower? 100 meters, 1,000 meters, to reach heaven, or to be as high as Big Ben? Next question. Oh, we're firing on ahead. How did God stop their work? He sent bad weather, he mixed their languages, or he took away all their bricks? Okay. So, why did the people stop building their tower? They ran out of bricks, they ran out of money, they didn't understand each other, or there was bad weather? Okay. What does the biblical name Babel mean? Oh, might not have mentioned that in the story, but have a go. Okay. What happened to all the people? They kept building, they built their own towers, or they were scattered all over the world. What words can we use to describe God? Okay, so if God was able to change all their languages, what if we think about the story, what words would you describe God using this story? Okay. What words would you use? Okay, very good. So who do we have at the top? Okay, very good. We've got Stephen, we've got Hannah, we've got Jeff, Bradley, Joel, Luke, all at the top. Very good, everyone. Well done. Super, everyone through that quiz. Now let's get back to our story. What does this all mean for us? We all know we all speak different languages, and some of us are very good at learning them and being able to speak them. But what does this show us about God? I see, these people thought they were the bee's knees. They thought they were so great that they could do anything. So they thought, oh, we're so good. We could build a tower to heaven. We could go there right now. We don't have to wait for God to tell us when. We can go right now. So let's build a mighty big tower and we'll walk all the way up to heaven. That's what they were trying to do. But you see, you can't just build a big tower to get to heaven. It doesn't really work that way. Remember whenever I talked about like the big cookie jar at the top of the cupboard that you can't reach? But if you've got a ladder or you've got a chair and you climbed up, you could try and reach it. But we'd be breaking the rules, wouldn't we? Your parents might have said, you can have a cookie, but only whenever I say, or only whenever you ask. And I will reach down the cookie jar and bring it down to you. That is exactly what's happening in this story without the cookies. They were trying to get to heaven by themselves, but they weren't allowed. And so God had to do something about that. So he changed all of their languages, because that's how we can accomplish things together, by communicating and talking to each other. They weren't going to build the biggest tower in the entire world without being able to talk to each other. They had to coordinate, they had to talk to each other, they had to talk about who's bringing the bricks, who's bringing the cement, who's going to build what part. So they needed to be able to communicate. So God decided the easiest way to stop this whole tower being built is not to be able to communicate. So he changed up all their languages. And all of a sudden they couldn't decide who was bringing the bricks and who was bringing the cement and who was going to build this bit and who was going to build that bit. They couldn't figure it out, and they got really frustrated with each other. And they got really cross and really angry, and they got so fed up they just walked away. They scattered into lots of different parts of the world, and that's how we have different languages in different parts of the world. They were trying to be really, really great. They were trying to reach something they couldn't, that was untouchable. The word that we're going to use to describe God this week is holy. Holy is something that's so special that you can't touch. A little bit like the cookie jar in the cupboard. You can't touch it, you're not allowed to own, and it's very special. There's special cookies. But God is even more special. He's holy. It's so important, sacred. That's how we use the word we use to describe holy. God is holy and we're not. God's up there and we're here. They thought that they could reach into this part all by themselves. But we know as Christians that we can't get to heaven by ourselves. We need a special person to help us and bring heaven down to us and be the connection between God and here. Let's draw a little diagram. I wish I had like a wee whiteboard here or something. Okay, so here we are here. My great drawing skills. We're the person and we're God over there. There's God over there. And there's this big divide between us. That's what it was like in the Tower of Babel. They were trying to build a tower to get from here, it's the other way around on the screen, here to here all by themselves. But God said, no, you can't come to heaven because heaven is a special place. You can't just walk into here, walk into heaven like you own the place. You need to go through Jesus. God was going to send a special rescuer, as it describes in the Jesus Storybook Bible. He was going to send a rescuer to come from heaven down to earth to help us get back to heaven. It was going to join the person over here to God. And who's in the middle? The cross. And we think back to Easter time when God sent his son to die on the cross so that we can get to heaven. And that's the end and the meaning of this story. These people thought they could get to heaven all by themselves, and they could build a tower and walk into heaven as whenever they wanted. But it doesn't really work like that. God is holy. We can't just go up to heaven with and come back again like a wee day trip. It doesn't work like that. God sent Jesus so that we can connect to God. God was so special and so holy. Us with all our sin over here could never reach God. But here we have the person in the middle that brings us together, Jesus. And that's how we can get to heaven, through Jesus. And only through Jesus we can go to heaven. Now we have a little memory on the website, which you can download the little card, cut it out and stick it on the fridge or stick it on your wall. And the verse says, your way, O God, is holy. What God is great like our God? So these people, they kind of thought themselves a bit like God. They were like, oh, well, we can do this all by ourselves. We don't need God to get to heaven. We don't need a rescuer. We can do it ourselves. And that is what this memory verse reminds us. God is holy and there's no one greater than him. He's so great and so big and powerful that he was able to change everybody's language. So that's our story today. A story to remind us that God is God and he is holy and he is greater and he is powerful. And that even if we think we're so great, we still can't get to him without our rescuer, without Jesus. And I hope you remember, even this wee simple diagram, God is over here and we're over here, and we need Jesus in the middle so that we can come to God. So the other wee activities that we have is the wee spaghetti and marshmallows. You're going to have fun building a tower that way. Or if it doesn't work, and if you've got Lego or Duplo, you could build a big tower and talk to the children over the tower building activity, all about how the people tried to build a tower and they failed. Because whenever you get to the spaghetti and the marshmallows or the Lego, or if you're using Jenga bricks, you're going to find out that it's pretty tough to build a big tower and that you're going to have a few attempts before you eventually give up. And it's a perfect way to tell the story of the Tower of Babel. You can try as hard as you want to try and build a big tower, but it is impossible. Remember our little prayer activity? I haven't mentioned it in a couple of weeks, but it's a little prayer chains, a little paper chains where we write our prayers on every week. And the kids can have good fun, and we'll bring them all together whenever we finally get back into our church building, whenever that may be. And we've no idea how long this is going to go on for. We don't know when we'll be able to get back into church, but hopefully, we pray that it will be soon and in God's time. Just about in very soon, the church service, the sermon, and there's other people participating as well, is over on our YouTube channel. I'll put a wee link in the comments below, and there's also a post that went up last night on Facebook which has the link on it, and you can click on it, and advertises the church service. So if you want to give that a like and share, just to get as many people as possible watching it. You never know who might see it and want to watch it. These are crazy times, and people who've never tried church before might want to try church online in the comforts of their own homes. So give it a good like and share, and people can access that at any time. And there's lots of people participating in it this week. We're continuing our series on Philippians, and it'd be great to have you over there. And check out the Facebook page for all the announcements that are coming this week regarding like a discipleship course that's happening. And that's it from Sunday School Live today. Hope you enjoyed the story and the game and the quiz and the wee crafts. Have a go at your little paper Tower of Babel, or building a Lego, and see what you can come up with. And I hope you have a really good week, and we'll see you again next week. Bye! How do I end this video?